Okay. All right, I'm going to just do casual stream today. What I want to work on is, what do I want to work on? That's the question in my brain. Oh, I actually am very curious about. Let me check something here. Okay, good. That works. But let me change path to be this. There we go. I'm curious if this will render as a closed solid. It seems to. Oh, it is valid. Oh, that's pretty cool. That actually makes me wonder. Makes me wonder about this. Okay. So I have this work in progress. My goodness, I need to clean up this. So it's intentionally unorganized because it's just experiments, but I should probably start to move things into their proper places soon. Let me see something too. This is gonna have to be something for later. I don't want to do this on stream, honestly. Maybe that's useful, but I'll do it later. The stream's gonna be a short one, by the way. I have an idea though. I'm letting myself bounce around ideas I'm popping between stuff and not finishing thoughts, but that's just how it's gonna be for the time being. So it's just gonna be fine, I think. Okay, so here I want to find. I've got inside this. I've got this isometric calculations thing. So here, right, what I actually want to do is get all of this. All I need is this, like this, I think. So we're gonna do that. We're going to then let me see here. Just trying to think about this for a second. The reason this is relevant is well, let me do this. Where's utils? So this is what I mean by stuff getting messy. It's like I'm copying code in from other projects and stuff like that, and it's not like I haven't captured the good bits into the proper libraries yet, so that's something I'll have to do over the weekend, I think. But this is a fine starting point, really. Okay, let's think about this. If I do isometric transform of a list of 2D points, do they end up 3D? Yeah. So how did I end up using this again? I don't remember. Oops. Let's have a look here. Here's what I'm confused about. I thought that okay, so I've got the shape function being passed through a range to get 2D points from it. Then I'm transforming it and it turns into 3D points, but I'm just passing that into EL/polygon without I'm just surprised that that actually works. I would have expected to have to do something different with that. Did I build a check into things somewhere that I'm not remembering? Like a 2D, 3D sanity check? Okay, so it is still rendering stuff. That's good. This is so... I love this, by the way. I think it's really good. I think it's good art. To be blunt about it. Let me see though. What is the result of... It's gonna spit a ton of stuff into the REPL, so it's not gonna be exactly clean to read, but so be it. Once this stops scrolling by, all I need to check, this is just a lazy way to do it. I should have done this more intelligently, but here I am on a Friday not worrying too much about being efficient, just relaxing. Okay, so they are 2D points here. See this? It's just an X and a Y. So I'm honestly a bit surprised about that. Let's go look at the function blend pillar and see how it ends up. Producing just a 2D polygon. I wonder if it's because if I do something like this, tf/translate the result 0, 1. Ah, okay, so it's in the translate. I'm just relying on the translate to silently drop the Z value. Okay. Not sure that that's a smart approach, but it is an approach. Okay, so well, here, I'm gonna just do a really naive thing and see if I can get something working. Okay. I might not even need this. Let's just start with defen SVG surface. Okay. Let's even start with like this. Got to put that in a let. Okay. So from this, we've got let's destructure this for a moment. We're going to let keys what are the keys in this that I need? I need to get faces. Is it points with a full? It's a little hard to read, but there we go. It's maybe easier. All right. Oh, long list of things. Oop, here we are. PTS, points. Yeah, okay. So we've got keys, points, faces, like that. And using that information, what we can actually do is let me think about this. Basically, well, actually, let's do, okay, so let's call F, it's a function of a face, which has A, B, C indices passed in. And so what we do here is let points be, let's see, map vec of drop last of the point which is pulled from co-reactivities. I Hope I read your name correctly there. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Sup, what are you making? Procedural geometry, huh? Yeah, so I'm using Clojure to generate, well, so I have parametric curves, parametric surfaces, and volumes and stuff like that. And I'm using those functions to kind of create meshes. And it's mostly for visualization, but I'm using this OpenSCAD tool to just view the polyhedron that is derived from it. But so you can see here, this is just triangulated Bezier patch surface, and then I extruded it, and so I'm kind of just piecing together meshes based on different curve and surface combinations. That's not a pot? Oh, yeah, right. So pottery, fair point. If you let me finish up this function that I'm writing here, I can show something that's actually a little more pottery-like. So it's mostly a Scratch namespace, but the first thing I did was, oh, I don't have it with me. I have one of my favorite coffee mugs has a square cross section on the bottom and a round cross section at the top. So I was working on creating meshes that blend from one shape to the other. In fact, you know what? I'll show you why I called it pottery originally. So I had this vase function. I'm just evaluating that, and it's writing to the file. So if you give it a second to render the shape there you go. That's more like it. Granted, still not a pot, but it's closer. It's more in line with pottery in that sense. So, you know, it kind of counts, but I've let things diverge from there a little bit. See, there's one simpler vase sort of thing. So these are the kinds of things. So it's procedural geometry, but it can actually, this here, I don't know if you know anything about OpenSCAD, but it's possible to create a mesh that can render, but not become 3D printable. But here, this is actually 3D printable, so that's pretty cool. I like the screwedness, like the twist on it. Oh yeah, let me pop up the B vase here again. Yeah, so this one, see, so here's an example how it's like, its quick render has some weird Z, like there's weird issues there, but if I click the render button here, it actually is able to compute the volume properly. Not a CAD person, but a Blender person. Oh, gotcha. So I haven't done it yet, but I am keeping my eyes and ears open for, so what I want to do is, once I have these Clojure procedures, functions that produce like good polyhedrons, so good meshes, I want to have an exporter that can, so I want to figure out some way that I can connect my Clojure stuff into the Blender process for the purpose of more abstract procedural generation and stuff. Oh, wow, Mike, hey. Hello. Sorry you've been absent. Work has been super busy as of late. Hey, Mike, as I always say, that's no trouble. I'm just, I'm glad to hear from you. It has been a while, and it's good to see you in the chat. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, co-reactivities, the meshes I'm producing here, it's extremely simple. Like, it's a list of vertices and then a list of faces with indices to indices into those, right? So yeah, right. So your comment, you just said what I was saying it. Should be pretty straightforward. All 3D software reads a list of vertices. Exactly. So I should be able to build something that goes into Blender nicely. Yeah, good to be back. Yeah, glad to see you back, Mike. It's always nice to see you pop into the chat. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, Mike. New glasses, sir? Oh yeah, that's right. These are my new 80s programmer nerd glasses. I don't know if you knew, I had a pair of glasses and then I went to a campsite just outside of Squamish and jumped in the river with my glasses on like a chump and off they went, just given to the river. So finally managed to get an eye appointment here, get some new glasses, and I figured I'd go for a different style. My girlfriend and I are gonna go and pick out a second pair because I really love these, but not everyone does. So I want a kind of a modern pair as well, you know. That'll cost you a pair of glasses quickly. Yeah, no kidding. And it was a fast flowing river too, so like it's like I jumped in here, but I mean it could be anywhere in the riverbed along this step. So they were lost, donated as it were to nature. Anyway, I have a pair of glasses. It's really nice. So I don't have a strong prescription, so I mean I've been streaming for a long time without glasses, but it is nice to have a pair when I'm sitting in front of the computer, if I'm driving at night, that sort of thing. So yeah, feels good to have a pair. All right, I have to finish writing one function before I completely forget what I was trying to do. So I have, I've been working on a bunch of functions and experiments with parametric curves, extruding them to make surfaces and extruding surfaces to make volumes. So that's a work in progress, but I realized it might be cool to make a rough and ready SVG surface renderer using the quads and triangles produced by the polyhedron surface function. So I'm trying to make a first pass at that, assuming some kind of isometric projection. So we'll see what happens. All right. That's a lot of data points, right? Hey, co-reactivities, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. That's a lot of data points. Yeah, so I mean, this, for example, has tons and tons and tons of vertices. It's a big polyhedron. The surfaces for the SVG thing, part of me is thinking, like, for artistic flair, it might be fun to just kind of create a lower resolution mesh renderer, just for kicks for now. I don't know, it's just an idea I'm exploring. But yeah, so you don't want to necessarily throw literally every vertex at it. That'll blow up your SVG and make it hard to render in real time, right? So if I had to guess, I'd say it has 5,000 vertices. This thing? I'm quite sure this has more than that, but actually, man, I'm letting myself get distracted. Let me do this. Let's do count, get in, Vase, 1, points. I'm gonna guess quite a bit higher than that. I'm gonna go 10,000. 0. That's wrong. Oh, of course. No, not of course. Sorry, 1 second here. Maybe a little more, like 5,050. Well, I could kind of cheat and actually render it with a different segment count to adjust the number to be closer to whatever I want it to be. All right, let's see here. So play like The Price is Right. All right, here we go. We're gonna count it one way or another. We're gonna try count it. Okay, so let me just try this. Oop, what did I do? What's happening? Sorry guys, 1 second. Oh geez, here's why. I've confused myself. I'm looking in the REPL and I should be looking through my code. Oh yeah, it's one of those days. Need to figure out a way to create a poll for stuff like this. Oh man, Mike, that's actually hilarious. That's a great idea. So there, all I know is there's this, I think it's called straw poll. They probably yeah, so it generates a poll here. What happens? How does that work? Let's see. As you can see, I'm loving the Friday distracted me version of things. I'll get to some stuff in a second. Let me just see. There's probably even like Twitch integrations for, if not straw poll, something very similar to it. Don't think mods can make polls. Oh. I guess, so is there like a, I wonder if there's something built into Twitch that I would have to figure out how to do. You might be able to based on like, oh. This is obviously not a real poll. I don't understand. My vote doesn't count. I'm voting for B. B is in best. So it's real time, but not real time enough, I guess. Or I'm doing it wrong. That's very possible. Let me ignore that for a moment and finish writing the function I need to write. No, actually, let me do this instead. Let's do print count. No, let's do plus count get in body 1 points. Okay. And I body, interior of the body is the next part of this. Okay. Whew. Oh, look at that. According to this rough and ready calculation, there's 5,100. Huh. Who was closest? That makes Mike the closest. That is so funny. Wait a second though. Let me cheat it. Let me see if I can get closer by doing something like that. 5,300. Let's do a really low segment count of 20. 840. So yeah, I win because I get to I get to do whatever I want. Oh, that's so funny though. So at the 50 count, see that? So see this here, how the number is very, very, very dependent on the segment count. One thing I haven't done yet. No, that's not how this works. Oh my goodness. That's really funny. I wonder if this straw poll thing like expects tons and tons and tons of votes to come in, so like it just works differently, or if it's, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's also maybe because I've got like some kind of ad blocking that it's not showing me results. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna not worry about that right now. Yeah, co-reactives, congratulations to Mike for guessing the number of vertices in this vase as determined by my arbitrary set point of segments. I love it. 3,000 with a segment count of 40. Let's bring this here again. So this count is probably close to accurate, although to be fair, it might be different because the way I did this, I meshed the outer volume and then I meshed the inner volume, but I let or relied on the cut operation to happen inside OpenSCAD. So that means the mesh at in the final shape. Oh, they don't display it. This is a fully rendered thing. They don't show the internal nodes here, but my point is the final triangulation after the CSG operation might be different than this estimate here. So when I implement CSG in the Clojure side, then I'll have an exact count from it there. You figured out how to make polls and predictions? Ooh, really? Okay, go ahead and make one if you want, just to mess around with it. That sounds fun. There's so many things. What would you like it for? Oh, okay, let's see. By the way, Blender devs are working on geometry nodes, a node-based system for procedural geometry. Pretty amazing, but not finished. Oh man, Mike, I'm trying to think of like a useful but still goofy question. Oh, I know. Let's do. Okay, so this is totally pointless, but kind of fun, I guess. I'm gonna ask for either Arctic Aurora lights or Spring Blossom. So Spring Blossom or Arctic Aurora. It's just a binary option, but what should I switch to from this? That's Spring Blossom, Arctic Aurora. There. For my lights. As an unimportant but totally relevant question. Yeah, so co-reactivities by geometry. Oh, wow, cool. So I haven't set it up to show up on my screen or anything like that. I guess that's in. Yeah, it's just in the chat directly. Ooh, if I vote, that's gonna throw it off, isn't it? Let me vote. It's in the Twitch chat, yeah. So I don't have anything like, I haven't put it up as a integration into my onto my screen, which actually should be cool. So oh my goodness, co-reactivities. That question is so horrible. Uh-oh, we've got a split here. We need someone to break the vote for my light color. Otherwise it's gonna go random. It's a tie. That's hilarious. So these kinds of things start to make more sense when there are more people in the chat, right? Where you can actually get a bit of crowd interaction there. But that's really, Mike, thanks for finding that out. That's actually pretty cool. Good to know. Okay, would you rather have the feeling of popcorn stuck to the roof of your mouth or salty fingers, like eating a bag after eating a bag of chips. Both for the rest of your life, nothing making it go away. Oh my goodness. Those are so cruel. Is it just a feeling of salty fingers? Like if I touch things, does it leave salt on surfaces? Because if it does leave salt, then I'd rather have popcorn in the feeling of popcorn stuck in my mouth. Because I hate like actual salty fingers. Yeah, no thanks. Am I sure? No, I'm not sure. They're both horrible. They're both horrible. I guess I could just wear gloves all the time, you know? Or only drink liquids and huh. Yeah, I'm leaning popcorn. I'm leaning popcorn personally. Okay, but now I need to roll a random number. Does that actually work? It does. Okay, so it was 0. I said spring blossom first, so it's gonna be spring blossom. There we go. What about you, co-reactivities? Would you go for salty fingers or popcorn in your mouth for the rest of your life? Again, just truly torturous decision. Not a fan of any of those options. Oh, those hypotheticals, like the would you rather, so funny to think about it. Okay, here I am, finally getting back to the SVG rendering function just for kicks. Also leaning popcorn is more socially accepted, but I really hate that feeling. Oh, totally. I like even just talking about it makes me like run. It's like I'm like running my tongue along my teeth and I'm like feeling anxious just imagining it being there. It's not a good feeling. It like almost makes popcorn not worth eating, you know? Not quite, but almost. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love these Friday casual talking about whatever we want sort of things. It's great. Okay, so here we are in the middle of this SVG surface function. I'm employing my do the dumb thing first technique, where all I'm doing is getting a surface using my open surface function to triangulate it so that it's like visible, so that I can display it right away in OpenSCAD. Then I'm going to take the list of points and faces and create a triangle in SVG for every face and just drop the Z coordinate so that it displays the projection of it. So I'm going to do that first. I think it's going to project it incorrectly. Then I'm going to run it through the isometric transform so that it kind of looks as if the camera is kind of in sort of looking at it from the same perspective that you see in CAD programs. But to ask a serious question again for a minute, co-reactivities, do you mind when you say geometry nodes in Blender, is that like the where you've got like what's that called? Like a visual based editor where you can drag around like a card on a screen and then draw a line connecting the output point to the input point of another process, and then you get this sort of tree structure with like paths all connecting each other as inputs and outputs. Is that node geometry editing? Am I thinking about that correctly? Am I asking a cogent question? All right, so here we go. We're gonna drop last from get from points the node, the vertex A. Oh, which actually we don't need to do it like that. We can actually just do this face. Okay, so we're gonna map that whole function over the face, and that's gonna get me the 3 points. And then inside here I can actually just do el slash let's just keep it simple polygons for now. We'll thread el slash polygon of points through tf style fill none stroke white, which works in the context of this, but it'll not display properly if I put it in the browser because white on a white background is it doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so all I need to do now is I'll just pop it into a group. Actually, no, let me write it this way. el/g map f over faces. Okay, let's see if that'll show me anything useful. Let me also find a test surface to work with here. I think I defined a really basic one. Oh, you know what? It'll be fun if I try it with a Bezier patch. Let me just check that I'm doing that right. Let's do this. Okay, I think this is just a... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh yeah, this is so this is two things rendered here. Let me turn off the show edges here. So we've got a Bezier patch surface here. And then this black line around it was my first attempt at extracting a bounding curve from a given surface patch. And it seems to be working. The problem is the way I got it to work was by assuming that the given surface was bounded by 4 curves, which is not always a valid assumption. You can have a valid parametric surface bounded by a single curve, if it's an ellipsoid, so a circle or an oval or something like that, or by 3, which is, say, a triangle patch of some kind. And technically, you can go up and up and up and up, but anything greater than a 4 curve boundary is most likely to have been derived from a combination of patches of surfaces of 4 or fewer curves. But this is me getting beyond what I actually know how to solve into just theoretical, just thinking aloud. Anyway, co-reactivities. Yes, that's a node-based system. What I was kind of blabbering on about before makes sense for visual things where you want to reuse components. Let me search this for a minute. Blender. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that kind of interface can be extremely useful. Yeah, the geometry node editor. I do think it's not universally useful. It reminds me of visual code editing tools, which feels like a bad fit. But co-reactivities, where you say it makes sense for visual things where you want to reuse components, 100% agree. That makes a ton of sense. In fact, I have this sort of pipe dream idea to build some Clojure/Clojure script app ideas where I have a sort of combined code/node edit view where you can build a tree of nodes that you can connect inputs and outputs, but each node you can put a code block and evaluate code blocks, that sort of thing. I hate visual coding. I think it is not a fit at all. Coding gets very complex. Yeah, that's true. It is fair to say that geometry and geometry node editing can likewise get very complex. So it's sort of like you can make it work in many contexts, but it works up to a limit of some kind, some complexity limit. I totally agree. I don't think visual code editors are really... I feel like they're a bit of a non-starter, whereas geometry node editing makes a lot of sense. I feel like maybe there's some kind of hybrid you can have, but who knows. In Blender, you already have a 3D editor, so you do still have separated objects. You don't have to do the modeling manually. You start with simple models and put geometry nodes on top. Oh, I gotcha. I hope it's I hope I'm not trying to sound dismissive. I'm just sort of thinking about these different use cases. Blender is an amazing tool. I've like dabbled in it before, love it, fantastic open source tool, and I think a node editor is going to be a pretty powerful addition. I like it. It's cool stuff. Okay. Right, so I've got a patch surface. Let's try that. Let's do SVG surface. Okay. Let's actually do it like this. Tools, cider show. An SVG surface where the surface is patch, and then the segment size is going to be 10. Oop. It didn't work. Okay, so it's correctly generating polygons, but there are no points. So let's work on fixing that. Why don't we? All right, here we go. I think first thing, what might be the case is that I actually am passing the points in as a list, which if I do get list 0, 1, 2, 3, and I try to get something from there, it's nil. But if I make this a vector, then it can do that. I think the reason is related to the implementation differences of a list and a vector. A list in Clojure, it can be, it's like a, I think it's like a linked list. What I know for sure is it's lazy, so it doesn't know its own length. Right, so you can do first and then you can do last on a list, but anyway, the point is a vector is eagerly evaluated, so it knows all the indices, it knows the full length of the vector, so you can use it, you can use get on it. So what I need to do, based on the approach I was working on down here, I'm quite sure I need to do this. Let's do points, vec points. And that might fix the issue. Let's see. Well, it's a different error now, which is one step in the right direction. Let me check here. If I do get from an empty vector, it's nil. Okay. Okay. Let me just try. Let's see now. That's not what I meant to do. Ah, okay. So we're getting something, except we've got a situation here where we just have 1 point. This polygon has 1, 2 points. This one here has 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me try tools/cider show drop last 2 from the previous result. Ah, okay. Here we go. So I just have, this is this is a classic problem, at least that I hit all the time, where if you're working with indices and then you're running over lists or looping or doing whatever with index values, and then you just overshoot, like you've got indices that are invalid because it doesn't exist in the context, you end up with things that just don't render. And unfortunately, because I'm not always the most careful with validating things while I'm experimenting, you get situations like this, where this means that passing into OpenSCAD, I am passing in incorrect indices that go outside the bounds. But the way OpenSCAD works is it doesn't, like, it's fine, it'll ignore it safely. But there are other contexts here, like my SVG viewer, where it will not be so kind. So anyway, I don't know what the moral of the story there is, but it means for this to work quickly and in a dirty fashion, I need when let's see, when count, this is crude, but when equals 3 count filter remove nil from points. Okay, otherwise it's nil. And then all I do here is remove nil. That should work. Famous last words. All right, let's try. Ooh, still did something wrong. Okay, I can work with that. Now, why is that though? That's, well, let's find out. Okay, so something's wrong here. I didn't filter things out properly. I'm a little confused by this, but it's okay. It's all part of the process, honestly. Let's do this. Map F to faces. We want to keep that, but let's temporarily make this return just the points like that. Oh, let's also make the patch size like 4 so the printout isn't huge. There we go. Okay. So here, okay. So the logic is sound, except it's not going to be a nil for some reason. In this case here, right? If I do get points. Oh, yeah. Okay, here's why. I shouldn't drop last here. I should actually drop last inside here, because I believe, well, yeah, let's just do it like this. Sorry. If I vec nil, this is where it's coming from. Okay, and if I drop last of nil, okay. Here we go. Points. I just need to do get map get points. I need to simplify this here, and I need to use that as the filtering condition. The reason here is, oh, let me fix up a little mistake here. There we go. Okay, now we should get, not that. Okay, so now we correctly get nils here, which does in fact mean this when is working now. That's good. And all I need to do here, when that's the case, I just need to, although I actually do prefer, I can clean that up a little bit, but I'm gonna be right back. I have to go to the washroom. I won't be long. All right. Let's keep things going here. Oh, I'm not sure if Mike is still around, but this is relevant because I think the last time, Mike, you were in the chat, we were talking about, or I was mentioning that I was applying to some jobs, some programming jobs. I actually have an interview coming up next week for that, so feeling excited and nervous about that at the same time. But I guess, I mean, I just wanted to share that out to the world a little bit. All right. Okay, so you know what? Let's keep the logic like this. Core Activities, wish you the best of luck, mate. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It is, so I'm a self-taught dev, and I've been over the pandemic time. I took some time off from regular work to build up some open source libraries and start working on some of my own business ideas, and I love that. I don't love like hierarchies and authority and all of that stuff, so applying for a quote-unquote regular job is nerve-wracking. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's like something I have to get my mind wrapped around again, you know. I also never have done an official programming job before, you know, being self-taught and all that. So I'm just like, I'm hopeful that it goes well. I think it can. Like, I don't think I'm incompetent. That's not why I'm nervous. I'm just nervous in general because it's new, you know? Go look for a small company with 20 people max. Yeah. So luckily, the interview I've got is for a company kind of in that description. So that's it's also fully remote, distributed team, that sort of stuff. So it feels like it feels like it could work well with my preferred organizational structure. So I'm genuinely excited, genuinely like, oh, I hope I can do well, you know, the normal mix of stuff. I think, you know what, I've got what it takes. I'm a good person. I'm pretty decent at programming. I'm a quick learner with new technologies, that sort of stuff, you know, all the good stuff. I'm capable. I do know that. It's just a matter of doing the interviews effectively, you know. We'll see how it goes. Excited though. Okay, inside here, what I want to do is take points. Oops. Map. That's the spirit. Most employers are actually struggling to find just decent people. Yeah, it you know, it can all be a bit of a challenge, right? I my personal feeling is I really wish I really wish humans didn't in the modern world have to work to survive ultimately, you know? Like I do wish there was some basic ability to guarantee that everyone had shelter, food, all that good stuff, you know. I live in the real world. I know that this isn't how things are. I'm not trying to be unrealistic here, but like man, wouldn't that be lovely? And then you could find people who are interested in different challenges. You could have employers that think a little bit differently about their structure. It could just be a very different case, right? All that aside, yeah, it can be hard to find the right people for the right teams, all that good stuff. I think that's definitely where things are moving, but it'll take a lot more time. Yeah. I also think it's not like I'm not sure that it's a guaranteed end point, you know what I mean? Like, it's not inevitable that things are that way. It could be. I mean, I don't know the future, right? I do just hope in general that as we build technologies, as we work at companies, as we do all that stuff, that we keep in mind that humans are humans. We deserve to respect one another, all that good stuff. And if we can keep those things in mind, I kind of feel like we can get closer and closer to those kind of ideal ways of living. But I don't want to philosophize right now. I want to make this function work. I also I have my thoughts, and it's my channel. I can kind of talk a bit about how I think about things, but I don't want to like evangelize different thoughts outright, you know. I'm just sharing some ideas, roughly speaking. I'm not trying to get on a platform and tell everyone how to live their lives. I'm just kind of thinking and processing my own stuff out loud, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's a Friday, and I'm just trying to make this function work. That's my story. And all I need to do here, right, is for each point, I actually just want to map. I think I can just actually map drop last like that. And I think that'll actually do the trick right away. Let's see if I'm right about that. Okay, close that off properly. All right, let's have a look. Okay. That looks correct. Okay. Good. All right, so now let's try to visualize this. There we go. That's pretty cool. But, so here's the thing, right? This is a top-down view. This is effectively... oh, it's facing the wrong way. Or, yeah. Okay, so here we go. This, we've got X going this way horizontally. Looks like my belly from the side. Right here, this side, right? Nice, flat. I'm just playing with you. That's the... Love it. There we go. Okay, so we've got SVG uses the top left as the origin point. Positive X values go from left to right, and then positive Y go from top to bottom. So it's like the underside view of most CAD software. So that's a little bit annoying, but that's a solvable problem that I'll deal with or just let it be, because I'm not trying to be CAD accurate at the moment. That's a project for later. This looks really quite cool though. But what I actually want this to be is isometrically projected. So what I think I'm gonna do is, so the more general solution to this is to have a sort of, to create a render pass, or have the SVG surface also take in a camera settings parameter, so that whatever 3D shape I give it, it converts it into, like it does all the transformations for the 3D points, tessellates it properly, and then projects it into 2 dimensions per the required camera positionings. So I have done that in the past with some shader stuff I was playing around with. And I'm sure there are ways to do it using the tools I've already built up. I just don't want to fumble around with that on stream. I think I'll look like I'll look foolish. I'd rather look foolish off stream, to be honest, or at least less foolish. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not going to do it right now, is what I'm saying. But what I do wonder is, if I do here, if I try isometric transform like this, what does this look like? Yes, that looks awesome. That's what that looks like. Dang, that's cool. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm pretty pleased. Okay, this is gonna be foolish, but let's see how long it takes to render a patch with a segment size of 100. It's not gonna look like anything really. Yes, all right, this is sweet. That is, I gotta say, I'm happy with that. That's quite cool. Okay, so using that, let's bring this down to a more realistic number there. Like, that's pretty sweet. So this, right? This is just SVG. So it is 2-dimensional paths calculated so that it looks like it's a 3D thing, right? Someone could, I don't see, here's the thing, I don't have one, but I kind of want to get or figure out how I can print with a pen plotter. And what you can do, since I can at least now project 3D surfaces into SVG paths, I could actually start to use those outputs to create pen plotter art. So like if I get something like this, I could actually make, I mean, that's cool. This is all cool stuff. Like, that's amazing. The axi draw, something like that. I mean, that's pretty cool. Anyway, tangent. Pretty sweet though. Yeah, so this is not a new idea, by the way, right? See, here you can see that's sort of a 3D looking shape being printed onto there. I just want to do that too. It looks so cool to me. I am a fan. I think I might have to buy myself one of these, to be honest. Okay. But that's a thing for another day. Oh, man. I love this. That's so cool. What? I love that. This is amazing. This probably has massive jitter when the arm extends really far, because it's got a huge moment arm. Even though the whole thing's super light, I'm sure it flops around a bit. But anyway, doesn't matter. I wonder, this might be a fun thing to eventually build my own, but I'm getting so far ahead of myself, it's ridiculous. That's cool. Oh man. I love it. Okay. Right, so I have the ability to render surfaces into an isometric projection pretty darn cool. Using SVG, even cooler. Let's try a more complicated surface, why don't we? Actually, I could do... Is it gonna... Let's try something. Let's try something crazy. Okay, let's try... Okay. Oh, this is... This is not gonna work. This is gonna fail. So let's scrap that idea for a second. Let's go up here and make a... Let's modify a little bit here. No, wait a second. Let's step back once more. Body, volume. I have to, okay, I'm gonna change this up a little bit. All I want this to do simple vol. No, let's just call this ASDF because whatever, it doesn't really matter. All I want is the body, but I don't even want it to be a volume. I just want it to be like this. So here, BS and TS are all I need. Okay. Right, so here I should be able to now run SVG surface with ASDF. Yes! That's so cool. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with that. Yeah. It even renders it pretty quickly. I mean, it is just rendering the surface, so not overly surprising, but pretty cool nonetheless. Oh. Slowed it down quite a bit there. Got pretty aggressive with the count, but that's okay. Uh-oh. There's way too much trying to render into here. That's the problem. Oops. Well. See, the problem with this is it's there, but the background is white, so I need to do there we go. See, that's why it's not displaying very well, because there's a ton of triangles. Which is, I mean, like, obviously that's not going to work very well. Yeah, okay. I might need to restart it, actually. Alright, let's try to render a much simpler one into there again, just to see if I can kind of unlock it. I'm not sure that I can, though. Alright, so what I want is like the dream SVG thing is to have things like hidden line removal functionality, more control over the contours that are being rendered, like all of the little lines around the outer part of this being turned into like a single continuous path so that you can control the outline, the top face being a smooth shape instead of the faceted shape that it is, like that. Just basically having high quality draft style, like CAD technical drawing output from the surface inputs like that. That would be kind of the dream here. Let me, I gotta cancel this. I gotta do a few things here. One, I have to now try save this. Make sure I can save this. Sorry, things are just locked up because I tried to render this massive SVG into my REPL. Oops. All I want to do is cancel this. That's all I want. Okay. Let's try to clean this Emacs up just a little bit here. Now what? Ay. Gotta get my stuff cleaned up a little bit. Tell you what. Okay, let's kill this one. Okay, there we go. Finally, we're down to some of the most basic. We don't even have a REPL open. Now we're looking okay. Let me just. There we go. Now we're good. All right, sorry, I've been, sorry, kind of splitting my attention two ways here. Not a great policy, but let's do this. SVG rendering, we should pop to the bottom here. Then we save everything like this. Yeah, fine, I don't really care about that, to be honest. Where where's the indentation issue? Okay, I'm gonna give myself about 20 minutes just to mess around. Hopefully I can get things working. That's the idea. Alright, let's figure this out. We'll let this load. That's fine. Okay, now let's load file. Okay, so extrude curve 2D. Let's try that. Okay. Wait, where did the open surface function go? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. That was my mistake. All right. Okay. Alright, so something's gone wrong now. At line end of file while reading, starting at 218. Yeah, it's gonna be a pain to figure that out, I think. Okay, I feel like something went wrong here. Yeah. Here we go. Flip surface orientation. That's the ticket. There we go. Okay. Okay, I think I should now be able... Nope, that's not what I meant to load. I need to load the file. Yes, it loaded everything. Perfect. Good, good, good. Okay, here we go. Let's see how we can get things working for me here. Oh, what have I... Right. Okay. So now if I do tools, cider, show, SVG volume of ASDF with sample size of 10. Yeah, okay. It's hard to tell, but you can actually see the top surface is actually yeah, it is being rendered into there. Right, so let's see. Ooh. Okay, so what's going through my head right now is figuring out how I can do some kind of ray cast to see which triangles are occluded by other triangles and just either not render them or split them or something like that. That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. But I have to do that in the context of a 3D space, don't I? So what I want... It's like some backface culling kind of thing. If... Let's see. Oops. If I do, if I do the cross product, let's do a vector 1, 1, 1 with 0, 1, 0. It's some value. If I do a cross product with something that points in the same direction, it ends up being 0. And if it's like almost the same direction, it could be anything. Hey, Foxter. Although I have no idea how you're able to actually produce all the cool shapes from a lack of math knowledge. I have to admit your results kind of make me want to jump over my own shadow and read up on the topic. By the way, hi. Well, Foxter, thank you so much for such a nice message. I really appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for leaving a comment. It says you're a first-time chatter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I honestly, it's so fun, and I'm not going to go ahead and say the math is easy, but I am going to say that with a bit of patience, anyone can figure it out, because it's not so complicated that you can't think of it. One really nice thing about geometry in 3D space is that we can naturally start to build visual intuitions because we live in a 3D world, right? So it's not always easy math, but there's almost always good visual intuitions to help you build mental models. So that can be super helpful. So I'd say go ahead and learn it, you know? Do you do programming or CAD or anything like that already? Do you have any experience with modeling of any kind? Not that you need it, I'm just asking out of curiosity. A lot of the stuff you see here is me literally just messing around with different concepts that even I'm not completely fully aware of, you know? Like I'm just playing and learning as I go / having a lot of fun with it. Let me show you another fun one that I figured out today. Here's a surface, a patch surface. So here, for example, is it's just a 2D projection of a 3D Bezier patch surface. Let me actually render it into here as well. So this is the same surface, just rendering it into SVG right here and into OpenSCAD polyhedron here. Pretty cool, right? Same data, different projection. I think what you're seeing here is oriented differently, though. That's the only thing. I think I may have accidentally done something wrong with the orientation of this. But anyway, I digress. It's just an orientation problem, not a render problem. Oh, there we go. This is now the same angle. So you're seeing here is the origin, and you're seeing the Y going that way, X going like this, and then Z is is up. So programming, yes, you've done 3D and 2D modeling. No, just stumbled upon the channel since you're just playing around with Clojure. Oh, nice. Are you quite new to Clojure? I hope you're enjoying it. Obviously, I use Clojure quite extensively, but I really happen to like the language a lot. There's a lot of fun things to learn. For me, it did take a while for me to wrap my head around a bunch of stuff, but that's also because I am a self-taught programmer in general, so there's just a lot for me to learn anyway, but I've been loving it. Clojure I find awesome, and I just love 3D. I love 3D and CAD and stuff like that. So that's actually why I learned programming to begin with, is to help automate different CAD CAD workflows and stuff like that. So anyway, lots for me to learn all the time, lots to learn. But yeah, it honestly, if the only fear is figuring out the math behind this kind of stuff, I would say if you're patient with yourself, you will absolutely be able to figure this sort of thing out. It ends up being not quite as hard as people might initially assume. Still struggling with some of the concepts in Clojure. It is a very different experience than using the normal OOP languages. 100%. Took me a while to figure it out. This will only be a very little starting point, but I'm going to, just for sake of doing the doing the little self-plug thing, I am slowly working on some new videos for this YouTube channel that I just posted in there. I try to be pretty good at explaining different things as I use Clojure to build out little examples. If you're looking for, I mean, have a quick look. If it's useful to you, maybe that's nice. If it's not, no pressure, obviously. There are good Clojure things out there beyond that, obviously. Oh, that's a big old tab window that I don't care to look at right now. Let's see, clojure.org. If you go, if you're looking, no, here's a better, if you go clojuredocs.org, I found Clojure Docs to be super useful. If you are looking for a specific function, like, just off the top of my head, let's imagine you don't understand the concept of the let binding yet. If you just search let at Clojure Docs and you click it here, there's some user submitted examples. I found this to be insanely helpful. Oh, my screen is blowing my face up here. Sorry about that. Got a new subscriber on YouTube. Hey, fantastic. Thank you very much. Just so that I keep myself reminded of this, I've been working and hope very soon to have a new video up related specifically to using Clojure for this sort of 3D modeling type of stuff. So if you're interested in that element specifically, keep your eyes open, because what I want to do is explain some of the basic tools that I've been using and hopefully start to lead people down paths of their own discovery, as in giving a few links to things that I used to learn, giving a few places they could go if they want to do their own stuff, and all of that, because I want to present myself as a, here's the stuff I do explained by me, and here are ways you can expand on that knowledge yourself. That's kind of the goal I have there. Anyway, my next video is going to be related to more of this again, parametric curves and parametric surfaces, and using those to create polyhedral meshes and stuff like that. But back to Clojure in general, if you're ever stuck with a specific, Clojure Docs is great. What's really cool about it too is there's this discoverability feature, I guess. If you scroll to the bottom of Clojure Docs examples, right, there's this see also, which I recommend as you're learning. If you know you need a specific function and the examples are helpful, just have a quick look at the see also and just look at the names of those functions and just try to keep them in your brain. One thing I found out over time is that as you learn Clojure, there's often you can kind of implement how to do something yourself, but there might actually be a built-in function to do exactly that thing that you didn't know about. So using the C also can be a really helpful way to help you discover other functions that could be useful. They might not be specifically, but they could in general be helpful to learn them. So keep that in mind. Clojure LSP has it included now, so you can use it within your editor. Oh, that's right. So here's the thing. I'm a Clojure dev, but I have a fairly arcane IDE setup, which this weekend I actually have to improve it. Clojure LSP has been a thing I wanted to add into my tooling because of exactly that sort of thing, where you can pull up examples live right in the code. Super, super useful stuff. But I don't know if it's relevant. I don't know. Maybe you already knew about that, but I found this once I scrolled down far enough and started looking at C also. That really opened things up for me in terms of discovering some other features that I had no idea about initially. The other thing is too, here I'll if I go GitHub, this was one of the first libraries that I really actually read the source code. This, by the way, SCAD CLJ is a library to help with exactly this, making 3D models for OpenSCAD using Clojure. Anyway, if you're wanting to learn how some people might architect a library, just read some source code. Maybe you already know all of this stuff. I'm just blabbering on about some of the things I use to help me learn. That's really all. But yeah, reading other people's code is almost always a helpful thing, because it lets you kind of peek into how other people think about structuring a problem, you know? This project in particular, this is just the one that I used to start looking at. I like it because it's very straightforward. The model itself doesn't use anything too crazy. You've got a few def macros here that are really syntactic additions. They're just, you don't even need them technically. But here you've got basic, these are all functions that just return a list, a quoted list. And then if you go back, so that's the model. If you go into SCAD here, this is the compiler. And if you look at it, what I love about this is it really was a good example of how you could use def multi to create multiple dispatch functions based on certain inputs. And I found it extremely useful. So anyway, that's just one library. There are tons of libraries you could look through. In general, reading other people's code, especially for a library that you know other people use successfully, probably a good place to start. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. I really, I'm enthusiastic about Clojure. I'm enthusiastic about CAD. So if you can get me talking about any of those things, I've always got stuff to share. But yeah, just honestly, if you're excited to try this stuff, go for it. You can, by the way, you can, if you have questions or more detailed stuff, you can, oh, I don't know if I have, well, here's my GitHub as well. You can always post issues on my GitHub libraries. You can message me there. You can send me a message here on Twitch. You can go, do I have my Twitter? You could ask me stuff on Twitter. Oh, I don't. Sorry about that, but that's my Twitter handle. Point is, take it or leave it, but if you want to get started on some of this stuff, you can go ahead and ask me one way or another, and I'll try to be helpful and try to point you in the right direction. That's true of you, Foxter, but that's true for anyone else who happens to be watching this at any point. Please feel free to send messages. If I cannot answer a question directly, I will tell you, I'll be honest about that, and then I'll see if I can point you in a useful direction. I don't know everything, but I do want to be helpful. That's really the gist of it. Okay, I don't have much time left today, but what I would like to do for the next short, tiny little bit here, what do I want to do? Do I have anything in the off the top of my head that could be useful to try? Oh, this is not crazy important, but I do want to try. Let me get this path extrusion rendering here. Yeah, okay. So I want to try this. Let's do this. Open surface. Let's do that. But now let's do okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay. That's good. But let's go back here again and redefine this once again following a curve like that. Oh, that doesn't look too exciting, to be honest. Let's do let's redefine path here for a minute. Once again, this is not going to look very good, but let's see what it does look like here. It'll recompile there in a second. What did I do? Oh, I must not have. There must be a. There we go. Yeah, that looks kind of strange. And that is not surprising to me. It's related to how my polygon path function handles hard corners, which is to say, it doesn't. Like if it by happenstance lands on a hard corner, it'll calculate its normal as some weird combo between them. It doesn't reflect things around those curves properly. And that's something I know I have to fix, but I'm just not going to fix it right now. Because I know that it needs to be fixed, but I don't know the best way to fix it yet, is the real simple truth of the matter. But as it stands, I'm honestly more and more happy with how this library is coming together. The tools I have for rendering in 3D here, and the fact that I can actually like render it out into an SVG environment already, granted, even though it's not perfect, is extremely exciting to me. It means the same data, the same code that I'm using to create a 3D model here that I could 3D print, that I could import into FreeCAD and make into a step file, is exactly the same code that I can use to create 2D drawings and vector views of it. So like that's exactly what I've been building towards. I'm very happy with this. So some of the next steps, I'm just gonna talk out loud to myself. I want to have a much nicer rendering story with 3D going to SVG, and what I mean by that is basically let's see if I can pull it up here. Got a huge set of things. I want to do something akin to this, which is, here is a cube, and the back path edges that define the bottom, like the corner that you can't see, is nicely occluded there, right? I want to build a renderer that'll handle that kind of stuff. So that's some of the next things to work on. And this here, Fogelman's, it's a Go project, has the very straightforward explanation here how it works. You basically use an intersect. You chop up a path to some granularity, which, boom, I can do that. I know exactly how to do that. I have the tools to do it already. Each point is then tested by shooting a ray toward the camera. So what I need to do next is build a way to properly build a camera, put that into the 3D scene, and render through the camera. So I've done that before. I can look up how to do that again and build the camera. That'll be really nice as an SVG rendering tool to make it to just let me move the camera around and get different renders. That'll be fantastic. Then from there, all I need to do is create a way to shoot a ray from every point toward the camera and check for intersections with everything else in the scene. If there's a single intersection, then that particular point is hidden. And basically, that's all I need. The only thing I'm not certain about is something like intersections. Because I think if I have a triangle and 2 of the 3 points are hidden, but the third is not, then what that implies is that there's something partially occluding that triangle, and I need or want to be able to chop that triangle at the line of intersection. So then I have a triangle, a new small triangle, and then a quad that has to be well, I guess it doesn't have to be. It can just be discarded as hidden. Point is, this is a helpful step in the right direction, but I feel like there's a few things I will have to change up as I go. But anyway. That'll be something I'll work on. If I have the next steps properly lined up in my head, I'll be able to start working on it and maybe be able to stream some of that next week. That sounds kind of like the stuff I saw at another channel where they went through writing a ray tracer in a weekend. Oh, isn't that a series of blog posts? Yeah. I've been to this site before. So raytracing.github.io. Yeah, this. Oh, yes. I totally have been on this before. This is a fantastic site. I love, man, people who write posts like this. One day, I want to be in the list of people who write amazing things like this. To tangent again for a moment. I have to, oh man, there's so many little projects I have to pay attention to. I have this project here. And this is a post that I have made. So, oops, sorry about that. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I have made sort of like interactive posts. They're not nearly as polished, but this site here, you can write Clojure code directly and see the rendered result here and build up like this here. Every bit of code on this page, it generates this automatically. So, I mean, here's a trivial example. See that? The width automatically changes. I can translate it to a different position. Point is, I'm tangenting again, but I have some of the tools in place to start doing these really intricate long form technical posts. I have to keep that in the back of my head too. I've got videos, I've got streaming, I've got posts that I want to make sure are useful resources for people. My goodness, I do too many things. Anyway, very cool. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's pretty fun. Let me see if there's any. The latest stuff. Some of the latest things. I'm also working on different art generators kind of in my spare time. So I've got a few things. I've got a lot of stuff that's like unfortunately not as polished as it should be. But adam-james-v.github.io will get you to all of those different examples that you could check out if you're interested in that stuff. I even have some older posts where I have some iframes with 3D models in them that I a while ago built up using this is Python code. It's not interactive or live, only this is interactive, but same ideas. And this one I even assembled. There's a 3D model of the assembled parts. I even literally I cut it out with a 3D tube laser, a CNC tube laser I mean. So you know, this is like, I'm basically aspiring to be a person who writes really cool posts. I'm getting there. One day I'll get there. Yeah, so this here is I don't know if this is literally the thing you were referring to, Foxter, but I've heard about this resource, and absolutely I'm gonna leave this link open because it's gonna be helpful. Oh, another super useful thing, Inigo Quiez SDF has some shader SDF things. Maybe this isn't what I'm referring to or what I'm thinking of exactly. Oh, that is the page you were talking about. Fantastic. Sphere marching. There's another. So there's ray marching. Oh, this is another really cool. Oh, sorry, no, this is not. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. That is so cool. Oh my goodness, I love it. Yeah, so this is not what I thought it was, but this is a really good example of another technique for rendering certain sort of parametric elements of things. This is different than parametric curves, but it's in the same brain space in my head. Anyway, all of that is tangential to me today. I gotta go very soon. I'm gonna change one thing up here. So the extruded curve is using the extrude cross section XS. I want to change up the control points of this Bezier curve just for kicks. I'm gonna do -20 like this, and I want to see what happens when I. Oh, that's wrong. I have to do this. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can see, so this is not pottery in the strict sense, but the ability to extrude a cross-section shape along a path lets me create a path and extrude something along it to produce something like the edge of a pot, for example, and then close it off at the bottom to produce like a ceramic sort of thing, like a bonsai tree pot kind of thing. So that's why, that was the original thinking of why I called this the pottery namespace here, pottery.design. I went a little off the rails, I won't deny, but that's where the name came from anyway. And yeah, we can see that that is working correctly like that. Okay, so that is going to be all from me today. I've got to do a few things before I head off for the weekend, so I'm going to have to end this stream. But I am quite pleased with today. It was a fun stream. Got to see a few friendly names in the chat, a few new names, and I got to just yammer on about Clojure and 3D modeling. I love that stuff. So thank you everyone for humoring me in that regard, and thanks for tuning in and being interested. Really, that's all I've got to say. I just am just happy to have people supporting the channel by following, by chatting, all that good stuff. If there is anyone so inclined, it is super helpful to either sign up on my Patreon or check out using a Prime sub to subscribe to me, anything like that. There's never any pressure for anyone to do that. It's just helpful stuff to kind of keep the momentum of the channel slowly building over time. You all know the deal with that kind of stuff. Regardless of that, truly, I hope everyone has a good day and a good weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to leave me notes or messages or whatever about any kind of feedback, you know, good, bad. As long as you're not a jerk, I'm cool with it. Blah, blah, blah. I've been chatting all day. It's going to be time for me to go. Thanks, everyone, once again. Have a good one. I will be back. If not on Monday, I should be back on Tuesday. I might have interviews on Tuesday, so at the very latest, it'll be next Thursday. But I do expect Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday to be my normal stream schedule, and that should be okay coming into next week. So I will see you then. In the meantime, have a good weekend. Bye-bye, everyone. Yeah, bye. Have a good one. There we go.